Paul had to correct Peter due to the influence of the Pharisees in his actions. So in Galatians chapter 2 and verse 11, it says, "Now, when Peter had come to Antioch, I withstood him to his face because he was to blame." Now, this is Peter, right? But yet he was afraid of James because James had actually become really the leader in the assembly in Jerusalem. And James was a very religious, or I should say, law-oriented man. The rest of the Jews even got caught up with this. Even Barnabas actually got caught up with this. So before they came down, Peter was fine with eating with others, and that is the Gentiles. But when they came down, he then separated himself out. Which of course, that is contrary to the doctrine that we have, because in Christ there is no distinction between Jew or Gentile. And that's not an appropriate thing for us to do. So the rest of the Jews were actually caught up with that. And he calls him out, and that is Paul calls out Peter, talking about the fact that we are Jews. In verse 15, we who are Jews by nature and not sinners out from the Gentiles, knowing that a man is not justified by works of the law, but through faith in Jesus Christ. And they knew that, and Peter knew that. Okay? So he calls him out. Now, as we pick back up in Galatians, we're going to be in Galatians chapter 2 and verse 21, because this is what he's been talking about. Prior to this, of course, we are not justified through law. Verse 19, "For I through the law died to the law that I might live to God." So if I have died to something, then I cannot live by that thing that I have died to. And that, of course, goes back to the law. I have been crucified. It is no longer I who live, but Christ who lives in me. This is one of the aspects of the Christian life that we need to learn. That my life no longer belongs to me. Christ actually died for my sins. He paid the penalty. My life belongs to him.